Hey, Sadab, you look a little tired. What's going on?
Hi, Jamie. Yeah, I am actually, honestly, um, tired, exhausted, overwhelmed, fatigue, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, it is. And guess what? I'll blame AI because all I'm trying to do is just trying to keep up to all the things that are happening around, all the launches and this model, that model, and all the things about AI. But hey, I feel I still just barely scratched the surface, and there is no way I can ever keep up because there's so
Yeah, I'm
many.
feeling the same way. I mean, there's just
Yeah.
so much information. I got a dog. I walk my dog, at least 2 or 3 times a day, and I listen to as many podcasts as I can. But there's just so much. It's like if I want to learn something on, vector databases, that's an hour podcast, and then I'm always going off to some other learning website. I mean, there is literally just too much information out there. So yeah,
Hundreds of news, hundreds of channels, podcasts, literally, I totally agree that no wonder. That's why I'm, I think that if AI was, to be named into a movie, I would say it would be that DiCaprio's movie, Catch Me If You Can. You can never.
and
So
it would
that
be
is
a
what it
4 hour,
is.
and it would be a 4 hour movie at that. What we really need, we need that like chip implant in our head, and we could just download all the stuff and in 30 seconds or less know everything in the world, and keep up with it too. That doesn't exist yet, does it? Or sort of does.
Not yet. I'm sure that it is somewhere in Elon Musk's vision of Neuralink chip
I was about to
implant.
say Neuralink. It's getting close, right? But
Yeah,
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 no, I agree with
like
you. I mean, we need something that brings together information, news, and keeps you updated. I wish it was out there.
and do an overnight update, and then you get everything. So yeah, actually, that's the thing. And I don't know. I'm trying to find. I found some podcasts like 5 hours, some are like 2 hours, 1 hours. But yeah, it's like a lot that you have to do, and then you have to browse through all the news and content, and then of course you have to read all that as part of the job as well.
It's a full
Um,
time job. It's a full
Yeah,
time
it is.
job. Trying to
It
keep up to.
is. And not just one person, team of people, is still trying to keep up. And I can bet you that it's still not possible. But I wish, did you find any channel, podcast, anything which kind of provide a crux of the things? Because I found some, like, but they go into either, like, say, they will go deeper into HR only, or they will go into really a philosophy.
Right.
Uh,
Or like how it only relates to like marketing side of the business, or someone give you news, but it's so much news that it's too high. It's either too high level or something I don't really care about.
yeah, and that kind of becomes just like a news channel. What I really need is, okay, what does that mean for a person, majority of the
Right.
people who actually work in the organizations, in the jobs, in the business, they run their own things, or they're running their own gigs, and they just want to know, what does that news mean
Right.
to them?
What's the impact? Like, how is it going
Exactly.
to impact me or my business?
Exactly. What is the impact? What is the opportunity here? Right? What's the threat? What do I need to do? I think that perspective, I don't find it.
I haven't found it yet either.
Yeah.
It needs
Um,
to be created.
yeah, and I'm hoping that somebody was doing it already so that we can find it. But so far I haven't found it. I don't know. Maybe we need to uh, tell some people who are doing this today to add those things as well. But I don't know if they're gonna do it. So I'm still waiting. Until then, you will find me exhausted.
Isn't there a proverb or something like that that says, if you see something that's in need, do it yourself? So why don't we
Hmm.
do it? If there's a need, why don't we fill that need with our own knowledge and expertise and help others out in the same token?
It's not a bad idea, to be honest. I was also thinking about it. That hey, if it is not there, yeah, if you don't like something,
Change
change
it.
it. So yeah, maybe time to change, and maybe time for us to do it, Jamie, because I think we got to do it anyway. We are doing it anyway for our job, for our personal curiosity of this this knowledge. We are anyway doing it. Why don't we share it? I think it's a matter of now just sharing it.
I like
Um,
that. I like that idea. What
yeah.
So we talked a little bit about like things that we would like to see, like a roundup of the news. What else would you do? Like what for something that you wish was out there? What would you put in it if you're running it?
Okay. So if I'm trying to find something as kind of a one-stop shop, as you like to call things, then I would say I need something where it gives me a roundup of news, events, happenings, launches, announcements, and board hiring and firing with for some spicing things up. Um, but yeah, that's where I think you should start. Just give me a download in a few minutes about what's happening, but also tell me what would it mean to me. what
Right.
what would I what do I need to do, or what do I need to be prepared? What would it change? How would it change my world?
Yeah, it goes back to the impact. I mean, it's a news reading for news reading. Who cares? But if it's here's this information, and then how is it translated into how it's going to impact me or my business? I think that's impact. That's crucial.
Yes, absolutely. um, okay, and the other thing I would say, Jamie, is, and I love what you do. You helped me a lot with like learning about some of the tech things, some tools, and there are lots of different tech and tools out there. To be honest, if I can benefit from it, so will the whole world. I think we should talk about some of those tools and tags and what's happening and how to really use the AI.
That sounds great. I mean, I love, me, I love the technology side of it. I love being able to get into the bits and bytes, if you will. Talk about new capabilities, new tools, quote unquote gadgets. Whether or not they're wearables or not. Yeah, that could be good. I love the tools idea. Good play on that would be like Jamie's toolbox.
Yeah, and come Jamie comes with a hand, like that managed to work. I would love that. Because I think people want to know. There are just too many out there, and they just continue to roll. People want to know, maybe sometime like show and tell that you generally do. That would be actually awesome. Um, but there is the other side of it as well. A lot of these tools and technologies, they have the other side of it. For example, what does it mean in terms of the business gains and the strategy and what should be the missions and goals, and like the business aspects of it, the ROIs and the governance and the impact, all those kind of things.
Yeah, that would be a good playoff. I mean, because if I focus in on the toolbox areas, and obviously we're talking about impact, but the side of that is, what's the strategy associated with, or the business impact associated with these things? How does that really play out as it relates to business, and how is it going to impact me as a person? I think you're onto something. I think that would be great.
Yeah, so I can do that a little bit. I can bring that perspective, and I got to match it up with what you have, like Jamie's toolbox. Maybe bring my business bag, Jamie's toolbox and Shadav's business bag.
I love
Uh,
that.
bring both the sides of the corporate world, actually, the business and tech.
I'll bring my toolbox. I'll put it on the construction hat, and you've got your business bag.
Yes, absolutely. I think that would be awesome. People, I think, want both kind of perspective. Most majority of the people who work in a job or a company, or even if they're running their own gigs, etc. They need, I think, both kind of perspective. I think that would be good. Um, what else? What else do you think, Jamie, that people will love?
Well, I think people love to get information that they want to hear about. So I think what would also be important is getting people's or soliciting, you know, what people want to hear or what they want to understand more about. So, comments, opinions, having people provide that information, I think would be super important, because then we can incorporate that into, the future episodes that we do. So that's one. I think maybe, as we get into certain areas, we certainly know a lot of people. We know people in business. We know people in the engineering side. Maybe being able to do some interviews with people on very specific topics that are going to be relevant. Maybe we can get Taylor Swift one day. Who knows? But I think interviews with people that are going to be relevant for what people care about. I think that would land.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we definitely, there's no show complete without a guest. So yeah, occasionally we should have some guests and talk about some of their perspective as well beyond your and mine. That would be awesome.
Yeah.
Plus, I think sometimes people just want to know some trivia. Sometimes people have some questions, and they want I think we should keep that interactive from that point of view as well. Let
Make it fun.
people, yeah,
Make it
exactly,
fun.
make it fun, make it a little bit more interactive. Let people leave some comment behind, leave some questions behind, and then we can try to address them.
Yeah.
I think that is what, if I would say, like, our dream channel on the AI for regular people, that would be it. Actually, that is what it should have. um
I think it just should
what
also
else?
include a couple things around, like, where to go for additional information. Not going to say it's not like training, but more or less like, all right, if you want to know some additional pieces around the topics that we've been talking about, where to go for additional skilling, or hey, if there's an event that's associated with learning Claude, as an example, like, where do you go? I think that would be important too, because I know for me, I love to read more or try things out. So, if we're giving people some concepts to noodle on, or at least be introduced to, maybe they want to go further with it. So I think that would be important as well.
I love that. I think the learning and learning resources and those kind of things people are always looking for. I do see that a lot of that hunger. Many times people don't know and they're still looking for, should I go to LinkedIn Learning? Should I go to Udacity or whatnot? Um, that would be awesome. I think we can continue to share those things. That would be actually a really good value. Um, I will contribute to that, and I will also listen, because there will be so much to learn while preparing for it, Jamie. But now the question is, what do we call it?
It's a great question.
We got to deal with
So
it. That
so
question is inevitable.
so did you ever watch the show X Files? I think it was on like in the 90s or early
I
2000s.
love that show. I love all the sci-fis.
So not that I'm going to call you Scully or anything like that, but um, I love the notion of AI files. And here's the reason why. X Files, it's about mystery, it's about uncovering the truth. That's what our episode should be about. It should be about uncovering the truth on artificial intelligence and giving the people what they want.
Yeah, I love that. In fact, as I see at you, I see some files behind you. So yeah, why not? AI and files. Yeah, AI files. I love that. AI
I love it.
files. I love that the TV show as well. And I think we can dig into some mysteries, and like, maybe do you think there is a supernatural element of AI as well? Maybe not. Maybe
You never
yes.
know.
Yeah, maybe we'll have to dig out. So yeah, that's what we'll do. We'll find out all the
Yeah.
different aspects.
Hey,
The
when are
opportunity.
we going to be doing this? Like every day, once a month? What's your target time frame here?
Yeah, the kind of things that are happening, it seems like every day would be a better frequency, but I think that would be a little too much. Um, Monthly could be a little less. I think people will just feel like they are like 2 years behind if they do it monthly, maybe somewhere in between.
Yeah, it was the pace of which AI is changing. Once a month would not be enough. So, like probably every 2 weeks, distilling down the information that's going to be most important. I think that's a sweet spot for what people want, and people would care about. So let's go
Yeah.
with that.
Yeah,
Hey,
absolutely. Yeah.
do you think it's about time we probably introduce ourselves to the folks so they know who they've been listening to for the last
I think
minute?
so. I think so. I think we gave the name of the channel, but we haven't given up about ourselves. Or actually, we have some labels here, but let's give a little bit more description about us. Let me start. So, hello everyone, whoever is listening. This is Shadab Hussain. I am a data, AI, and analytics professional, currently working at as a data and AI specialist, seller, director of data and AI at Microsoft. Um, I love data, AI, analytics field. For last 22 years, I've been privileged to actually work with different customers to help them in their intelligent enterprise journey. A journey to make an enterprise intelligent, which really means that the decisions are based on the insights driven by the data. And they are not like based on gut feeling or the past trend, but really based on the data driven decision making. And that's not possible without you use the data and analytics and AI. So I love that part. That's my passion. And hopefully I'll bring that passion to the table as well in this channel. Other than that, I'm based out of New Jersey. Occasionally you will find some of my family's special guest appearance unintentionally on this channel as well, because I have three daughters. They just love to barge into my room sometime. So sometime you'll meet them. But that's about me. Jamie, over to you.
Yeah, thanks for that. So as you can see, Jamie Basilico is my name. I actually have a nice little tagline there, Storm Chaser James. Other than being totally into artificial intelligence and data related items, I also do some storm chasing into the weather. Sometimes I like to actually bring the two together, especially there's a lot related to computer science, artificial intelligence on predicting weather models. So they do meet somewhere in the middle there. Anyway, I've been in and around data for about 35 years. Started my career back in as a DBA, believe it or not, on mainframes for DB2. But it was at the tail end of the mainframe, at least my stint on the mainframe. Went over
That
to
tail
different.
end continues.
Yes, that's true. I mean, there still are some COBOL coders, but AI will help in that too because it could generate COBOL code. But we'll get into that maybe in a future talk. But yeah, it's been around data for a really long time. Like I said, DBA on for DB2, Oracle, SQL Server, other databases that have come along since then. MySQL, Postgres, and obviously artificial intelligence. Building mining models, predictive models, regression, and dealing a lot with generative AI over the last 2 years. So that's a little bit about me in the background. And yeah, you may see some people move from time to time in the background. So I think we've all grown accustomed to virtual meetings, and it's the way of life these days. So that's a little bit about me.
Absolutely. And I think, quick reminder, both of us, as we said, we actually work at Microsoft. It's important that everybody knows we work at Microsoft. It's a kind of a disclaimer that, we will try to cover everything within this. This is not an official Microsoft channel on the AI. This is just in a personal capacity. We are just talking about everything around us. We're going to try to cover everything, not just Microsoft. But it's important for you to know that we are Microsoft employees. We do own Microsoft stocks, and although that's not the intention to promote the Microsoft product, but we love Microsoft products. It definitely has an unmistakable lead in it. So we will talk about a lot of Microsoft as well as other products and everything else that is happening in the AI world.
Yep.
Yeah. But
So
Jimmy,
yeah, go ahead.
yeah, I also realize that I think the answer is simple, but I think it's good to spell it out. We need to create this. We need to do this channel to keep up to date. But why? Why is AI so important that we need to be up to date? Um, why do we feel why do we feel that by falling behind we're going to miss out? Why is that so important? I didn't feel about that when it comes to crypto
I,
or
I think,
blockchain or the cloud.
yeah, I think there's a bigger question there is like, why is AI so prevalent now? Because, yeah, as I said before, you and I have been around, you know, data and AI space for many years, probably, more than 50 years combined when you add the two of us. Has AI been around for a long time? Yeah, it's been around longer than I've been alive. But, where are we today with artificial intelligence? It is such a different feel than what it was 2 years ago, let alone 5 years ago. And the pace at which things are changing, it's incredible. So I think the bigger question is why is there such this different feeling with AI today? And I could boil it down to maybe answering that in 10 seconds or less, maybe even less than that. The answer is it's everywhere. The notion of artificial intelligence, when I have my family members, relatives, friends coming to me and conversing with me around artificial intelligence, yeah, they're not going as deep as I am, but they're talking about AI. It might be, oh, I saw AI in a deep fake, or I saw AI with chat GPT, or I saw somebody building an image like you just mentioned before. There that's it's now everywhere. It's prevalent. So what that does, it changes the narrative around artificial intelligence. It's no longer just like kept in a back room somewhere with a data scientist. It's now family members talking about it. Family members are people that are running businesses and companies. So it's no longer just thought of, all right, I need a machine learning model to help me with price analysis. It is now a different conversation where people are saying, well, and when I say people, it's people within all levels of an organization of business that say, how can I use artificial intelligence now more broadly within a company? So while there are definitely changes in terms of technology, I mean that's a given when you just look at how far OpenAI has kind of moved the needle with the use of generative AI tools over the last 18 months. And by the way, OpenAI has been around for years. People just like think OpenAI just was newly discovered
Born last year.
November, yeah, last year, which always makes me giggle a little bit. So, but even still, OpenAI as a company is relatively short lived when we think about how long artificial intelligence has actually been out there. I mean, it goes back to like the 1950s.
Yeah,
Um, but anyway, I'm kind of going off on a tangent here, but I think the single most important thing around AI and why it feels different now is that people are tuned into it, whether or not that's from the media or from like pure technology, but whatever it is, it's on people's minds.
it-
When something is on people's mind, you get this like inflection point and it changes not only the technology itself, but it also changes the way people perceive and then implement things that will change business and will change the way that people basically run their life or
absolutely.
go about their way.
Absolutely. I think AI will reinvent every industry, as they say. Um, you go along with it or not, but it's going to do that. It's going to change the world. It is changing the world already. The best part I like about this, Jamie, is, you know, previously AI was a little bit elite. So you got to know its language to speak to it, to work with it, right? You have to know machine learning, you have to know all those kind of like the languages and programming and the IDs and all that to actually work with it. But now AI can talk to you in your language because now AI works in the natural language, right? So the interface has become so useful that now anyone can do it. I love those some of those videos that come out on the LinkedIn, some of the how the AI is being used in the remotest part of the world, in the rural part of the world, in somewhere some farmer in some of the remote part of the India is actually using AI to learn about the farming technique and the
Yeah.
crops and things like that. That is a real
And,
transformation.
and you bring up a really good point is that it's English. So it's no longer someone who has to know Python or Scala, all these different coding languages. You get the code, quote unquote, in your spoken tongue,
Yep,
in English, whatever it may be. And
absolutely.
that's a paradigm shift.
That's
Uh,
a paradigm shift, and it is well expressed in one of the tweet I like really is that by Andre Kaparthi, who work at the used to work at the OpenAI, and he tweeted that English is the hottest new programming language. That really defines what it means. And I really love that expression because it completely changes the game. It's a great equalizer.
yeah.
It brings the power to everyone. Everybody can participate, everybody can contribute. Nobody has to be behind. Nobody has to go through a elite data scientist, which is more like rocket scientist course to actually use this. Everybody can use it now. That's the power
So,
of it.
so we talk about like, obviously the change of technology, ways that people may interface with it, but what is it, we talk about what is AI, right? But what does it mean to a business? I come at things from a technical standpoint. You obviously have a really good, deep strategy background as it relates to data. What are you seeing as like why is there a shift now in the way that organizations are thinking about why they should adopt AI? Are you seeing some things that would be like pinpoint to this? Like what would that be?
Absolutely. I think that's a great point because AI is actually not a technology tool alone. AI is really actually a business tool. So when you see the examples of some of the new drugs being discovered using AI, there is a company that is entirely based on the AI. It's actually in the insurance business. Everything is driven by the AI in terms of decision making, in terms of the codes and everything. It is so well integrated into every part of the business that AI is actually not just a technology tool, it's actually a business lever. That's where it is. So that's why it is making so much difference. And every CEO and chairman and founder, everybody is involved because it can literally threaten your industry, disrupt your industry. It can flip the companies. It will, and it is already doing that. And then the other side of it is even within the company, like the customers, the users in the organizations, the people who don't know the programming, they are able to use the AI using copilots. For example, Microsoft copilots are a wonderful tool because people are able to use it. They don't need to know the SQL query. They can go to those copilots and just simply type what was the sales last month. They don't need to write a SQL query, and they don't need to develop a report for that. They just can do that. Previously, they had to rely on somebody to create a report, give it to them, or somebody, or to go to somebody technical to write a query. That is a real empowerment, and that's actually changing things on the ground.
Hmm. Yeah, that's powerful. That certainly is.
Yeah, and
So
I think the other thing is, Jamie, I really love this another expression as well, which was I think attributed to Professor Karim Lakhani from Harvard. He said that it is not the AI that will replace humans. It is the humans who knows no AI will replace other humans, and that also reflects a very powerful paradigm that there is a little bit of the darker side of the AI as well. It is something, if you opt to not participate in it, you will be left behind. It is important because it will reshape the careers, it
right.
will reinvent the industry, it will eliminate some jobs, but will also create new jobs. So it
Yeah.
will
And
it will disrupt for
yeah,
sure.
I was gonna say on that note too, it's like, I get asked a lot, especially when I talk to, obviously folks in business, but even some of my family members. They're like, AI is going to ruin people's livelihood and jobs. My My argument back to that is I don't see AI taking the job of a human. It might make them more productive, so they work on different things. But if you're reluctant or hesitant to learn AI capabilities, then you're going to be replaced by someone who is knowledgeable in that. I'll give you a really great analogy on this, and then I'll be quiet on this one. But think back to when we had to write resumes, right? Or when we landed your last job. What do you put on that resume? I'm proficient in Word or Excel, or I know this language or that. I was going to say 6 months from now. It's not even that. It's now. What would somebody put on their resume that's, even if they're not in technology, right? Think back to those productivity tools. Someone's going to say, I'm proficient in Copilot with Word, or I'm proficient in, using Dolly 3 or Midjourney to create images. That's the next level of saying I'm proficient in Microsoft Word or Google Docs, right? That's the piece where that person who writes that they know those AI capabilities, that's the person who's going to get a job over somebody who doesn't know that.
Yep.
So,
That's very well said. Yeah, very well said, Jamie. I think that's very true. That really reflects on the changed reality, and I think that is what it is. Despite and which other thing doesn't have, right? Whether it's the internet or computers or mobile, everything has a dark side of it. But look at the brighter side. Literally, so many possibilities are there with AI, and that's why it is also important to learn so that you know what to avoid. And we'll talk about it in our channel. We will talk about all those downsides of it and the dark sides of it, and of course the upsides of it. That's what our channel is going to be about. It's going to be 360-degree view of everything AI, and that's what we'll love to do. And anybody who is listening, um, you know just subscribe to this channel. Continue to look for the new episodes. We will be launching our episode every other week, and we'll be talking about it. Leave your comment behind. Let us know, what do you want us to discuss more, what do you want us to talk about more. We will do our research and bring it to you. And in the process, of course, we are learning. That's our real goal. With that,
sounds perfect. Yeah, I would say with that, that's probably a good place to wrap because we have so much to talk about, and I know I can keep on going for hours, but to our points that we made up front, let's keep this succinct and look forward to giving everybody that's listening great content going forward.
I know. We got to try to limit ourselves, because otherwise, if the AI really get both of us started, so it will never stop. But we will try to limit ourselves 30 minutes every episode. Okay. With that, thank you, everyone. Talk soon.
Signing off. You need a good sign off thing. See you later, everybody.